Hey, what's happening, guys? Hope you guys are doing well today. Let's do a little YouTube video. Alright, so plenty of things to talk about, although I don't know where to start, so what I'm going to do is just go with the flow and improvise and see what happens here. Okay, so let's start from yesterday. So yesterday I had a red trading day. Alright, so I had about 60 points of breathing room in the account, so I could lose 60 points on NASDAQ on one lots on the micros, and then I would be out of business. Guess what happens? I hit my limit of 30 points and I keep trading and I lose the 60 points. So I feel like crap, I feel like garbage, and I was even considering giving up. Yesterday was the first day since I started trading in about 2 years, give or take, that I said the words to myself, I give up. And I didn't just say it once, I repeated it in my head like 100 times. Okay, so yesterday was the type of days where I just had to sit in my own sorrow and feel the lowest reaches of my being. All right, now this is interesting, right? Because this is what it takes. Why is my camera all blurry? It takes you to sit there and say, all right, I give up, I've hit my breaking point. Saying I give up is not really what makes it. It's going to be subjective to the kind of person you are. So I'm not the kind of person that gives up easily. In fact, I'm the type of person that will try and try and try and try, and I have no problem getting up and doing it again 100 times, all right? Because that's just the way I am. Some people tend to give up easier, some people don't give up easy. So if I've pushed myself to the point where I say I give up, all right, I'm now considering giving up. However, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? The point of the matter is I said I give up, and I felt the lowest reaches of my being, and I did everything I needed to do to kind of just sit there and bathe in my own sorrow, which is important, right? As soon as I got off the computer yesterday, I went for a walk to the park, smoked weed, ordered pizza, played Dark Souls for like 6 hours straight, that type of thing, right? So that's what I do to bathe in my own sorrow. For you, it might be watching General Hospital and eating ice cream. Interesting, because today I woke up and I was not even expecting to trade because my account was under the margin requirement for IB. But I woke up and the account was above the margin requirement. So I don't know what happened. Maybe the Canadian dollar went up again, but I was able to trade. So today I pulled up and I traded. And I didn't just trade, I took the trades that I saw. And well, what happened was I managed to make back all of those 60 points and more. So quite an interesting way for it to play out. The account is sitting exactly where it was yesterday before I took the loss. But where I'm sitting is not exactly the same. So fundamentally nothing changed, but what did change is that I'm more humble, slightly, that is. So that's about it, guys. All right, so let's go through this video and look at some of these trades I took here. So this was the market yesterday. So we're watching the recording of yesterday's price action. So the market was selling off yesterday morning, and I found myself trying to buy dips. Now, and you'll see me get long right there at 72. Because I liked how the price ticked down and then traded higher. So you can see I'm clearly in profit there, and then I took it off for a small profit. What happens is we kind of slowly try again, and then we trade lower again, all right? So those bulls got optimistic, but the sellers didn't let up right there. So we see it again, another bear break into a bull. What happens is, again, we're trading higher and then back down. So this is a bit of a wedge formation. And again, I'm looking to buy here because we're seeing a bit of this wedge formation. What ends up happening is I cut it early that time, although there was a little bit more profit. So we kind of consolidate back in the wedge formation. Now, there's no red flags in regards to this trading right here. No red flags at all. But one thing that I did think about was the fact that a lot of bulls are trying to buy here. So look at these quickly, I'll say. So studying the tape and the DOM is the #1 thing, all right? But in regards to candlestick formations and price bars, they can give you some indications. And what indications they give you is how impulsive traders are getting in certain directions. And we'll talk about this probably in another video. But look at this price chart right here. You can see how we changed this 30-second trend, and we saw a higher low and a higher high. So this is getting bulls on board. Look at the volume coming in these price bars. So the bulls are optimistic about this market right now. But you can see how we just kind of stalled right there at those 80s. So this is something I'm paying attention to more, and it's about how price movements are getting certain traders involved. So what kind of price movements are getting the longs on board? What kind of price movements are getting the shorts on board? And how is either side getting answered? All right. So what you're going to see here is the sellers kind of answer after we popped up to these 80s. And the sellers are pretty aggressive here. And what ends up happening is we trade lower. So here's another one right here. So you saw how we traded lower and then back into the range. That is going to get bulls on board in the market. So bulls are looking to buy this. And then what do you know? More sellers are waiting around here. And that's how you have to approach it. You have to look at the impulsive moves, and you have to look at how is the other side getting answered. Is there absorption on the other side? That's so important. A beautiful test of the 60s and then a rally up to the 70s to get a lot of bulls on board, and then sooner or later what happens? More sellers waiting right around the 80s, and then we trade lower. So all the way through here, a whole bunch of longs were accumulating. Let it be here, let it be here, let it be here, or here, or here. Long traders were getting accumulated, and then there was always a seller waiting to sell and hold those offers, and then sooner or later we trade lower, right? So that's an example of some important price actions. I'm not gonna go so much in depth about it, okay? So look at this right here. We pull back up, and now we're testing the previous support. I get long there because I think that we are going to change this trend and head up higher. What ends up happening is we don't. We reject it and we trade lower. So there's a loss for you. And then I do the same thing. I'm in profit, and then I get stopped out break even. And you're gonna see me do this a bunch of times. So the market's clearly trending lower at this point. I'm getting long, and then I get stopped out. I'm getting long, and then I get stopped out. So this is just bad behavior. And I was not watching the tape enough at this point. So you can see here, again, the same exact example where we're coming down to these 980s. We're chopping, and I'm long. And what ends up happening is we trade higher, and then we see a massive sweep. I'll be honest with you, I was on tilt, which is why I let this happen. You see this right here? I'm long at 75, and we're trading at freaking 30. That's what happens when you let yourself lose control. So this was me yesterday, just completely on tilt, no idea even what planet I'm on, what earth I'm on, and I let the trade get 50 points offside like that. No shame in showing you guys this at all, because this is the kind of behavior patterns you go through in trading. You let the trade go offside. After so many, losing trades or break evens, you reach a point where if you're not taking deep breaths to calm yourself down, you're going to go on tilt. And this is me on tilt right there, holding a trade. I'm long at 75, the thing goes down to 30, and I'm holding on for dear life. I'm just like this. I'm just stepping away. I'm just like, all right, I screwed up. I admit it, my hands are in the air, I screwed up, okay? Now, I'm at the discretion of the market, yes, indeed. But when I saw this rally here off these lows, that kind of said, all right, there's a chance that I can get out break even. I just have to be a little bit patient. So we traded down to these 28s, and then all we did from there is sort of trade sideways and higher. So look at these bulls here. It's just unbelievable. We just traded from 28 up to 50 in like less than a minute, okay? So that was it, and then sooner or later the bulls arrived, and big rally, big rally, big rally, big rally, big rally. Now what's really interesting is how I'm there sitting trying to short it after this. It's unbelievable. So after the amazing rally, I was long at 75. The thing is still rallying as if it's going to stop at 90, right? And this is an interesting thing because NASDAQ is a trendy market, right? Once it's bottomed, it's going to keep going after the reversal usually. When they're trending, they usually continue trending, and they're usually going to fake you out. So even approaching a low volume area resistance or support, what's usually going to happen is you're going to get an offshoot of the level by like 6 to 8 points. For the NASDAQ, it's about 6 to 8 points. For the S&P, is probably about 2. So that's a general idea. And here I am trying to short the market, right? And it's trending higher. I'm shorting it. And I'm clearly not seeing the sellers getting absorbed on the tape here. The sellers just not being aggressive anymore. And this is me just trying to short it. So I was trying to get long while it was in a downtrend. I was trying to get short while it was in an uptrend. Just completely the wrong idea. And I have to study it more in depth. I'm just kind of scratching the surface as to how I was trading yesterday. But the moral of the story is I traded badly. I was on the wrong side of the market completely. Let's just flip it over to today's action. And today I had no expectations. I got up. Yesterday I played Dark Souls for like 6 hours straight. And like I told you, ate pizza and did nothing. And I woke up today, no expectations. I get in front of the screen. I see my account is able to take one trade. All right, cool, whatever. I'll take a trade, sure. Why not? So we sweep down to the support level. We're trading at these 90s. I had a long here that I think I cut break even. 84s, and then I think I cut that break even. Yeah, 84.75, yeah. And then we traded lower, and then we traded higher. So let's see here. Okay, so there was a bit of accumulation around these 90s to these 1000s. I get short there, and now, okay, so this was interesting because I let this short get a little bit offside. But I was watching the 40 offers, all right? And because this was low volume area resistance, so I was willing to leave this one have a little bit of breathing room. As long as we weren't starting to trade 45s, I would have been sticking around this short. So what I see here is this type of bullish consolidation. And then I said, all right, as soon as when we start losing these 30 bids, it's going to give me more confirmation to stay short this market. So what ends up happening is we consolidate. We see a few of these little pops. There's like an example of a buyer sitting at 30, and then we start to drop it here, and then you see the sellers kind of arriving. And once I see the bids drop under 30, I'm like, all right, are we going to see more sellers here? Because I think that based on how optimistic this was here and here, there's definitely going to be some long traders trapped in this general area. And again, I'm going to talk about this in a different video. It's basically about how price movements need to develop in order for them to work out. All right, there's a reason why the price goes up. There's a reason why the price goes down. And as a trader, you know, most traders, they want, all right, I'm buying, go up, let's go, give me money, and that's it. But the thing is, you have to sit there and wait for it to develop. It's like a story that's unfolding 1 minute after another, and you kind of have to keep gathering information about the market. So in order for these big moves to take place, you have to understand the behavior that's taking place in the market that allow these moves to happen. All right, so you can see here that the buyers are trying to answer, but the price is not moving higher. And then here, there we go, more sellers. And I've got my buy limit here around 1,000 because this was an area that we were seeing some absorption earlier, and I wasn't really willing to front run the fact that that was a support zone earlier. So I'm looking to get out here, at least take a partial. So I'm only trading 1 lot, so that's why I'm taking it off there. But if I was trading 3 lots, I would have taken off 2 there and hold another for a runner. So you see I cut the trade there for a nice profit. So right there, a nice, 30 handles or so. And then what happens? It comes right back to your break even. That's typical NASDAQ behavior. Low volume, and then we sell off more. Pop another time, and then we sell off more. So typical behavior right here. You get a nice sell right down to the support zone, bounce off of it, come up, no more buyers up here, sell back down, trap out some longs. Just some examples of some price action anyway. So I had some more trades later in the day, and you're actually going to see me catch the long here at the bottom. So this is an interesting example right here I want to show you guys. Generally, again, low volume support zone, and pretty much close to the lows of yesterday around the 928s. And we're coming down here, and I like the fact that we had this big sweep here, and now I'm watching the price action. So, okay, let's watch this together. So watch this price action. We're trading, sellers are pretty aggressive. We're trading down to these 45s. We start to catch a bid. We bounced off the 45-ish. All right, more sellers, look at that, 44. But we're not trading lower yet. And again, you have to keep in mind the context. We just swept the bids all the way down, and now we're into our low volume support zone. Now, let's be honest. The low volume support zone was from 60 to 70, and now we're below it, okay? And this is what goes back to what I was telling you before, is about NASDAQ overshooting levels a lot, and then it'll regain them afterwards, after all traders have been swept out. So when everybody's short, that's when the thing goes up, and when everybody's long, that's when the thing goes down. That's the price action. So now we've overshot the support zone quite a lot, and we're watching this here. So can we regain the 50 zone to the 60 zone, because this is our low volume area. So right there, you see how we traded to 942, and then we just instantly bounced to 47. That's the kind of action you want to see. You want to see sellers really start to dry up. So take a look at the sellers here, a bit of absorption, but nothing notable yet. So a lot of buyers. Now look at this tape right here. You saw those buyers come in right around 50. All these buyers right here, all just traded into 50, but the price did not move. Look at that footprint right there. 435 contracts on the offer at 50, not trading higher. So that was quite notable. That's a sign of a hidden order there, which is quite interesting, or a held offer. So we try again. More sellers. We try for another low there, 41.75, and now we come back up, 47s. And I'm curious about that 50 offer, right? Because I saw those contracts trade into there. All right, what's going to happen when we trade to that 50 offer again? So there you go. You see me writing in offer. I'm just watching here. The sellers kind of stopped. Now watch the 50 offer. Trade into it again here. More contracts. 48.50. Trying another time. Trying another time. Look at all those contracts. Look at that. So I'm seeing this and I'm like, all right, we're in the support zone. Look at all these contracts being absorbed at 50. If this offer lifts, what's going to happen? I'm thinking about getting long if this offer lifts. So watch this. Boom. You saw that? Look at that. The thing lifted. As soon as the offer lifted, it was trading at 54 and then 57. So that's me getting long, getting filled at 58. And the thing's going to 60. So don't ask me why this happened, but something about that 50 offer was fishy, okay? And guess what happens now in hindsight? Well, that was in fact the low of the day. The market rallied over 100 points from that level. So there I am getting long right there. And you're gonna see me cut it. I think I cut it around 87 or so. So there we go. So I cut the thing at 87. and that was it. So what happens is we trade higher, trade lower, trade higher, trade lower. And again, up at these 1000s, I grabbed the short because this was general resistance. The 90 zone was previous support. What happens is we overshot the level and then we started to trade lower. So I was interested in taking a short there because this was a bit optimistic. Got my short and then I got out. Anyhow, so that's going to conclude today's action. Basically made everything back from yesterday, and in one day, am I really any different as a trader? Yeah, I'm more humble. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.